is the anthem. Here's what you came for. This is the moment. Magic was made for. Come on, let's light up the sky now. You feel the magic happening right now.
Hello there. Welcome back to Fan Fatales.
Take a ride with us on the Hogwarts Express.
Walk down Main Street with our best super pals.
And defy gravity as we talk about all things fandom.
Hello and welcome back to Fan Fatales, a member of the Real Fans Podcast Network. I'm Emma, and I know that Gabby and I have been saying that we were going to be doing a Star Wars episode talking about the Disney theme parks, but our lives, especially Gabby's, has been real busy recently. In fact, Gabby can't be here today to talk about Star Wars, so we have our wonderfully, perpetually tired editor, Carol Lensmeyer, joining me to talk about all things Clone Wars actors and our favorite things in terms of the series. So, hi, Kara.
Hi, I emerge from corporate America.
Yeah.
I emerge from my day job to join us once again.
Before finals. We have 2 weeks before finals.
Oh, Lord.
A week before finals.
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
Here we go. Okay, so
yeah.
y'all know we're big Star Wars fans on this show. But
yes.
I am shocked that it's taken us this long for Emma and I to do a Clone Wars episode. And it's because Gabby doesn't have time to binge the show.
Well, she's watched most of Clone Wars.
She has?
It's Rebels that she hasn't watched.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking. And I'm in the middle of watching Rebels in preparation for the Ahsoka show. So, yeah.
Where are you in Rebels? I don't want to admit
same
to
place
where
I told you. Same place I told you. I'm right before the Wedge episode. I am in season 3. So
I'm halfway through season 4, if not more than season 4.
have you seen plenty of my favorite blue boy?
Yes, I have.
Yay, Thrawn.
Troubles. But anyway, we figured because Kara still hasn't finished Rebels, and I mean, Clone Wars is what started all of the animation Star Wars off.
Literally.
That we would talk about like some of our favorites. And we have a list of our favorites here on our lovely notes. So should we start with our favorite Jedi or Jedis?
Yeah, considering you guys can't see, but we have our list in front of us. Emma and I really are the same person in different fonts.
I could not choose between my babies.
You really can't. I know you. Okay, so let's talk about the first Jedi that you and I have in common, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yes. Why did you choose him?
I love Obi-Wan Kenobi, dearly. From the prequels on. Like, I've always loved Obi-Wan, even before I watched Clone Wars.
Yeah.
I'm an Obi-Wan girly.
You're an Obi-Wan stan.
That's the word we're gonna use.
I love General Kenobi because so it really was Clone Wars that got me to General Kenobi. It was really Clone Wars that got me into Obi-Wan. No joke.
Wow.
Yeah, no joke. So Emma knows how much of a fan.
My first lightsaber was Obi-Wan's.
Oh, I love that.
My first lightsaber was Obi-Wan's.
I
actually have all 3 of my Jedis.
Of course you do. No, it was really Clone Wars that got me into loving Obi-Wan. Due in no small part to James Arnold Taylor, his lovely voice actor.
Which we both have stories about him.
We love James.
Yeah. And we'll talk about those stories later.
Yeah, we have actor stories, which will be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Obi-Wan. He is awesome. I love how, especially in Clone Wars, they write him so sassy. Like,
I love that too. I also love kind of like, I don't want to say the backstory. That's not the word I want to use, but the backstory to like him before Anakin.
Oh
that
yeah,
we get the like remnants that we get of it with Satine and his
I
relationship.
hope we see.
Happening.
Wouldn't it be awesome if we got that in the next season of Tales of the Jedi? Wouldn't that be awesome
You know
to
what
see
would
him
be
and Satine?
awesome? That would be awesome. 1, 2. Can live action Star Wars mention our Duchess's name?
I know, right?
Huh?
We'll get to her. We'll get to Duchess Satine.
I know. I'll yell about my frustrations about that.
Yeah.
Then.
But yeah, we both love Obi-Wan. We love how sassy he is. We love James Arnold Taylor and the development he has given. And finally, James Arnold Taylor and Ewan McGregor finally met.
I know. And same with Matt and Hayden.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so
they just
you guys don't know this. If you're not like into all the fandom stuff like we are, but James Arnold Taylor and Ewan McGregor had never met prior to 2023 Star Wars Celebration in London. They had not met. The closest thing we got
was not invited to Celebration last year when Obi-Wan was coming out because
he wasn't.
They wanted the spotlight on Ewan.
Which I get.
And then Ewan never went to any of the Star Wars weekends, which James Arnold Taylor was the host.
Yeah, James and Ashley were the hosts. James Arnold Taylor and Ashley were. Yeah, so the closest we got, which James has talked about this on his podcast, Talking to Myself, was the closest thing he got to meeting Ewan was it was at some premiere. I want to say it was at Force Awakens or maybe Rise of Skywalker, something like that.
Something
it was
in the sequel.
Some premiere of one of the sequel movies. James was on the red carpet and he was like 10 feet from Ewan.
Wow.
10 feet from Ewan. And Ewan got ushered off and James was like, oh, okay. I guess I'll see you later.
Yeah. It was my favorite thing to see all the pictures of the cast meeting their live action counterparts or being with them.
Oh
my favorite thing was also, so MegaCon was a couple weeks before Celebration.
Yeah.
And both Rosario Dawson and Ashley were there on that Thursday of Mega.
Yeah.
And you could get a photo op with the Ahsoka's duo.
Oh my god, I love that.
And there was one Star Wars, or like one Ahsoka Tano cosplayer who asked for the Peter Parker play
Spider-Man
name with Rosario Dawson and
I've seen that picture. I've seen that picture.
It's the funniest thing to me.
Speaking of Ahsoka,
yeah, I love Obi-Wan. Speaking of Ahsoka, I could talk about her all day.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Let's talk about Ahsoka for a second because she's my second person. She's your first person on your list.
Yes, I wrote mine kind of in my order.
I didn't. I just wrote.
Okay.
But yeah, I love Ahsoka with all of my heart.
Same.
She's
and I've told this story way too many times on the show before, but I'll tell it again. My first introduction to Ahsoka was season 1 of Rebels when she walks down that ladder.
Oh my god.
And I was like, who is she? And I was like, I was on fandom social media, so I
like you were aware of Ahsoka, but you weren't like aware of Ahsoka.
Yeah. So I was like, I guess I have to watch this Clone Wars thing, and probably found it on one of those like 1, 2, 3 movie sites or like
one of those. It was pre Disney Plus.
It was pre Disney Plus and pre it going on Netflix for a little bit.
Oh yeah, because they were on Netflix when post Disney buy, but before Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So I think I watched at least the first 3 seasons on that site, and then they got moved there. So then I watched 4, 5, and 6 on Netflix. But I fell in love with her. I relate way too much of my personality to Ahsoka. I love her dearly.
You are Snips.
I am. I feel like I'm a mixture between Hera and Ahsoka.
That is fair.
So like those, especially after my rewatch of Rebels that's going on right now.
Yeah, you are rewatching Rebels for how many times?
I don't want to count. But
no, yeah, I love
I
Ahsoka.
love her. And even though like I knew kind of like some of the stuff, like again, I was on fandom Instagram. You knew that Ahsoka left the temple.
Yeah, so
like
that's
I
actually
knew that going into Clone Wars.
There are certain things that like even if you haven't watched Rebels or like you haven't watched Clone Wars, there are just certain things you just know because the fandom talks about it. Which I have a story about that when we get to the actors. So I haven't told you that one. But so I love Ahsoka. She is literally like no joke, she is baby girl. I love her so much. No joke, I was watching, so Clone Wars was my quarantine show. And I watched it throughout the entirety of quarantine. Literally, that was what I did. And I completely fell in love with Ahsoka. I love her so freaking much. Like, she was the female character that I completely like loved, and then we'll get to the male character I just freaking got obsessed with. But yeah, I love her. She's fun, she's funny. Ashley Eckstein, like, I love Ashley Eckstein and what she has done for female representation in nerddom.
And we'll get into Ashley.
Oh, we will get into Ashley because I love her so much.
Same.
But yeah, I love Ahsoka.
Ahsoka
she's
was
fun.
And I talked about this on our like Women's History Month episode, our first one that we did. Where Ahsoka, like, sure, we had Leia and Padme.
We had Leia and Padme, and that's it, basically.
And that was it, basically. And like, I guess Mon Mothma, she was in the original.
A little bit, but like we got like 2 lines from her.
Exactly. But seeing a Jedi, a female Jedi on screen.
A young female Jedi.
Yeah, like, what, she's 13 in the original?
She was 14.
14 in the Clone Wars movie.
Yeah.
And what, 17 by the time?
I think
16,
she's
17?
She's 17 by the time of season 7.
Yeah. Like, I love her. And just getting that representation of a main character female Jedi. Because again, like Shakti and all the other like female Jedi that we see,
like we saw them, but we didn't know them.
We didn't know them until Clone Wars, until Ahsoka's story was being told. And I don't think I would be a Star Wars fan without Ahsoka.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because again, Rebels is what got me into Star Wars, and then I watched Clone Wars, and then I watched all the movies, I think. I think that's how my timeline went. Which I probably wouldn't have watched all the movies if I hadn't fallen in love with Ahsoka. And Padme in the Clone Wars, which we'll get to Padme.
Yes.
But I love Ahsoka dearly.
Yeah, me too. I love her. She means so much as like she's a symbol, in my opinion. She's really much a symbol for
Ahsoka lives in all of us.
It literally, to quote our Lord and Savior Ashley Eckstein. Ahsoka, I love her so much because she's so relatable. Like, she is the eyes of the audience in Clone Wars. That's how it looks to me. Is because they were marketed towards that young demographic originally. They were marketed towards that. And then as the show got older, Ahsoka got older, and the audience got older. And that really did a lot. And
it did.
It just, I will never not love Ahsoka.
Same.
And I'm so excited for her to get her own show. Finally!
And I know that you've seen this in Rebels, so I feel like I can say
you can talk about it. I've seen some stuff for Rebels. I'm aware of it.
Season 2.
Yeah,
her ending in season 2.
Oh my god.
I remember watching it when the show came out, sitting on my TV or like sitting on my couch watching the TV for like the 7 p.m. Rebels finale showing, let's say.
Yeah, because that was
As
one
it
of
aired.
the only times they did like primetime airing.
Yeah, that it was still during primetime television.
Yeah, it was
Rebels
primetime
coming
television
out.
on Disney XD.
Yeah. So I'm watching it and I'm seeing a character that I've grown to love in the hiatus between season 1 and season 2 of Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
Face off her master turned to the dark side.
Yeah.
And I thought she was dead and I cried.
Yeah, and then Dave
My
Filoni
mom-
decided to market it like that, where he had the Ahsoka Lives ? T-shirts. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I
will
was so
never
late to the
forgive
party.
him. Yeah. And I kind of joke about it, and I know that I probably shouldn't, because I know that this time is going to come where we inevitably will end up watching her die, because we hear her
And like
ghost
actually
voice, and she's actually gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I've joked about it with my friends about how I'm going to need like PTO because I've lost this character.
Yeah, I love her.
And I think I will.
Oh, we're both gonna cry. Let's move on to your last Jedi, who we both adore.
So related to Ahsoka in a way, because he's the one who brings her to the temple, which we forget about.
Which I need to see that in Tales of the Jedi. We need to see
Same.
this. So
Please, Tales of the Jedi.
if you guys don't know, we're talking about Plo Koon,
Yes, I love him dearly.
who's also voiced by James Arnold Taylor.
Yeah.
Hi,
he's
James.
just-
We love you.
Hi, James. I just love Flo and his nurturing and like father-like existence to Ahsoka and to my OC Kana.
Yes.
But I think back to him being like, I can't believe Ahsoka would do this during
Yeah.
the season 5 arc.
Yeah, it was
arc.
season 5 finale arc.
Yeah, the Ahsoka leaving the temple arc.
Yeah.
Him knowing her. Not
Mhm.
just like knowing of her like all the other Jedi Masters probably did.
Yeah.
But he watched her grow.
Literally watched her grow up.
Yeah.
Like more than
So-
Anakin did.
More than Anakin did. And I just love Plo Koon so much. And I
Yeah.
really wish, because for those of you who do not know,
Mhm.
Dave Filoni, let's have a talk, sir. So,
Here we go.
what was it? The end of season 2 of Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Do you know about this? I know
Um,
about what I'm about to say. Obviously.
I might. It's been a minute since I watched season 2 of Mando.
So, in the finale of season 2 of Mando, when Luke came in, they
Yes.
wanted to keep that a secret. So in the behind the
Yes.
scenes, they were talking about
Oh,
how they
yeah.
were keeping it a secret and how they were using Plo Koon as the like little scapegoat to be like, no, it's not Luke.
Even though we all clearly saw Plo Koon die in episode
I
3.
don't want to talk about him dying. James Arnold Taylor says that he wants to play him again. He
That is
will play
also
him
true.
again.
And
He
how
is
do we know that?
alive.
Because I heard it. We know
I
that because
know.
I heard it.
Also, I'm getting really close to the mic, so I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's fine. No,
I love Flo.
I love Plo as well.
Can we? I want more of him in Tales of the Jedi.
James and Ashley have both said that they want to see the story of
Yeah, because we
Flo
kind of know
bringing
about it.
we're aware of it, and like all we've seen of it is like a tiny little shot that was in the
Yeah.
like younglings being kidnapped arc,
Yeah,
where you see a very young Ahsoka holding hands with Plo Koon.
yeah.
And both James and Ashley have talked about how they want to see that. They want to see that whole like thing where he
Which,
brings
for
her to the
those of you
temple.
who do not know the whole story, there was I believe, a bounty hunter who like saw this little Force-sensitive child and was like, "I'm a Jedi kid, come with me." And she was like, "I don't trust you," like toddler Ahsoka. And Plo Koon comes and finds her and is like, I'm the true Jedi. And she like takes his hand and goes, temple.
Baby girl, love
Yeah.
her. Oh my gosh. So shall we
I love
transition
them.
to the dark side of things?
Yes.
My favorite side of things.
Just go ahead. Everyone knows what you're gonna say.
Everyone and their mother knows what I'm going to say. I love Darth Maul. My favorite
No,
Sith.
really?
Really, me creating an OC that's supposed to be his twin sister, having the Crimson Dawn ring,
Having the Maul dress from her universe.
having the Maul dress from her universe, having the Darth Maul plushie that we had Mac go and get me from Disney World.
Which also you'd be able to do.
Yes.
AKA, I can just go there now if I wanted to.
You could, yes. Yeah, I
That's
love Darth
weird.
Maul. I love Darth Maul so much. I think he's just such a fascinating character. Because, like, so
Yeah.
to quote James Arnold Taylor, we're gonna quote James a lot. Because we love him so much.
And Ashley.
And Sam. and Sam Witwer.
And Matt. I have a great story with Matt.
Oh, great. But so to quote James Arnold Taylor, when we first saw Darth Maul, we saw this demon and we couldn't look away. And that's in Phantom Menace when he got introduced, where we saw this like silent assassin who is so cool. And then he gets cut in half. And
yet he keeps coming back, which is why I say Plo Koon can come back.
Literally, that is literally why James Arnold Taylor justified.
I don't care. He needs to come back for my sanity.
Yes. But yeah, Maul, so we didn't really like know much about the character, really, unless you like read some of the novels and stuff. But when he came back in Clone Wars, they literally cast the best person, in my opinion, to play him.
Yeah. Sam
Witwer, like, look, I understand that the original person who voiced Darth Maul was Peter Serafinowicz in Phantom Menace. I understand that. And that Ray Park is the body. I get that. But Sam brings such a
eeriness.
He brings this like Shakespearean tragedy type character to life, and it's just, in my opinion, Maul has the best scripts in any of Clone Wars. I feel like he has the best scripts,
and in Rebels.
Honestly, yeah.
You've started to see his Rebels.
I've seen his first few episodes in Rebels. I've seen his first 3 episodes in Rebels, and oh my god. But yeah, like when we saw him in Clone Wars, I got obsessed, and Emma knows this.
No, really.
Yeah, and it was so Maul is such an interesting character, in my opinion. I think he's nuts. I think he's funny. I think he's crazy intelligent.
Yeah.
I think he's like, I think if he was given the right faculties and given the right like path, he could be unstoppable.
Yeah.
And he almost was. He really almost was in a lot of different scenarios. But then Darth Sidious decides to come in and just be like, go away, you're not my apprentice anymore, die. Well, he didn't kill him, but he captured him. Which I'm so mad that we never got the Son of Dathomir arc. It's a comic now, and you can like find an amazing comic dub of it on YouTube. Please look it up. It's so good.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's literally the best. And the guys that got to like do impressions of the characters, like, whoo, really good. But I'm so mad.
That's one of the 2 arcs / scenes I really wish we got to have from the OG season 7.
Yeah. And the
other
other
one
arc is your character, so I will go off about Maul for a very long time, so let's talk about your character.
Actually, that wasn't even the arc I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about a specific scene between Obi-Wan and Anakin.
I think I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
when
the scrapped
like-
Utapau.
yeah, where Anakin's like, oh, let me call Ahsoka, like,
And then
she'll help,
she's
and
not.
then he's like, never mind, and Obi-Wan's like, you want to talk about it? He's like, what's there to talk about? She left, I failed her, all that stuff. And
Because
then ends with him
Anakin
being like,
needs therapy.
isn't that all of Clone Wars?
No, honestly, yeah. Red flag. Padme really said my favorite color is red.
I had this.
Oh my god, no.
Hi, welcome to. I'm a Taylor Swift fan.
Yeah.
But anyway,
let's talk about your favorite dark side character.
so Ventress is my favorite dark side character that we see in Clone Wars. And I really think it was when we started that Clone Wars musical.
Yeah.
That I
Rest
really got to know her. Rest in peace, that. But I wrote a song, I forget the name of it.
Fallen from
Our
Path.
That's what it was.
That's what
and
I
it
sang.
was during the Ahsoka leaving the temple arc.
Yeah.
In season 5. And Ahsoka's being like, I've fallen from my path, like, just like you have.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it so interesting. Kind of like Maul. They both fell from this dark side place.
Yeah, Maul. Sam and Ahsoka really talked about this at their at C2E2.
Sam and Ahsoka?
Sam and Ashley. I'm tired. Their names both start with A. They both talked about that. Where there are a lot of parallels between Maul and Ahsoka.
And Ventress and Ahsoka.
And Ventress, yeah.
Which is why I wrote that song in the first place. I was rewatching the end of season 5 because the arcs I love, I'll like rewatch just those usually. Which is the same thing with Rebels. This is my first true rewatch of the full series.
Yeah.
But realizing like she's fallen from her path, like she's no longer part of the dark side. She's just trying to make her way in the galaxy, just like Ahsoka is about to do.
Yeah.
And I wish we got
I wrote
more
a song for Ventress too.
Yeah,
I wrote her big song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Fallen from Our Path had a reprise, and that's the Ventress to Anakin one. But the one I sang was the Ahsoka to Ventress.
Yeah, Ventress is awesome, and I love the Night Sisters arc.
Yeah.
I'm so fascinated by the Night Sisters like culture and all that.
Yeah, I can't wait until you watch more of Rebels.
I know like stuff with the Night Sisters is coming, but I don't know what it is. That's all I know. Is that stuff is coming, and that's all I know. And I'm very excited. Also shout out to Nika Futterman, the voice of Ventress. Heck yes, you did amazing. Love you so much.
Yeah. And I feel like Ventress doesn't get enough love.
She really doesn't. I love her.
I do too.
I really do like her a lot. She's fun, and she also has an arc that was like supposed to be the end of her arc.
Yeah. Didn't they make that into a book?
It got made into a book, Dark Disciple. Yes. Yeah. I have not read the book, but I know what happens because I've like read stuff.
Yeah.
Or it's like it's her and Quinlan Voss, and it's a whole thing, and it's amazing. That's another arc that I wish got made, but I know that like part of the reason Clone Wars got canceled, a big chunk of the reason was because of the Disney buy and all of that. But yeah, Ventress is awesome, and Maul is awesome. And we love our dark side peoples.
Yeah, and Ventress becomes a bounty hunter, which is coincidentally our next category.
Yes, it is.
Where we both chose the same cowboy hat wearing bounty hunter.
We love Cad Bane. Corey Burton, you are the best. Oh, he's the best voice actor for that character.
Honestly, this one was the hardest category for me.
Really?
Yeah, out of any of them. Because I love all of the bounty hunters that we see in the show.
Yeah.
And I had to think about it hard, but then I thought about his appearances in outside Clone Wars media. So, what, Mando and Bad Batch?
It was Boba Fett and
or
Bad Batch.
Boba Fett and Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Any of the live action Mando, Boba, they're the same.
The Book of the Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's why like Dave Filoni has been announced that he's making a Mandoverse film.
Yes.
For Star Wars.
I'm very excited for that. Yeah, Cad Bane's awesome. He's my favorite bounty hunter. To me, he's the OG space cowboy.
Yeah.
Like,
Was he supposed to be like Dave Filoni? Because Dave Filoni always wears that stupid cowboy hat, and so does Cad Bane.
I don't think that was intentional, because I feel like Cad Bane is supposed to be like a Clint Eastwood type.
Yeah, I know, but
I understand your confusion. Yeah, Cad Bane's awesome.
I was making jokes about I recognize that hat anywhere. Like, that Ahsoka moment.
Who else wears that stupid hat?
Yeah, who else wears that stupid hat?
Literally. No, I love Cad Bane. He's fun.
Yeah.
And he's like, no joke, I almost wanted to include, like, instead of bounty hunter, put like non-force user, because there are a lot of non-force users, and include Hondo in that mix, because
I was about to say, can we add another like favorite other type of character?
And that's Hondo Onaka. For me, at least. I love Hondo.
I think that's my answer too. I can't think of like any others.
He's not a bounty hunter, but he's not a force user, but he's not a politician. Jim Cummings, what are you?
So I hate this character in all other media that isn't Clone Wars.
You don't like Hondo or anything else?
No, not Hondo. The character I'm about to mention. Especially after recent Bad Batch episodes, I don't like this character. But I like him in his little arcs we see in Clone Wars. That being Saw Gerrera.
Oh my god, I do not like him ever.
I like him in the first. I like him in the Clone Wars. When his sister is alive. When she dies, that is when.
Once Steela dies, all bets are off.
Yeah, that's when I hate his character, but I like him before that.
That's fair.
Because he is what the like him before his sister dies is what the rebellion is at its heart.
Yeah, is just wanting to do the right thing. But
and then
post his sister dying, I feel like he operates just on spite.
Yeah.
Literally spite.
Spoiler alert for Rebels, but you'll see him again, and it's pretty much confirmed that that's all he does.
Spite. Spite is a powerful motivator.
And I hate him, especially after Clone Wars or Bad Batch.
Oh, same. How dare you? It's okay. We know what happens to him because of Rogue One.
He dies.
Death. But
death.
Yay, death.
But I love Hondo as well. So let's go back to Hondo.
Hondo is awesome. I love Hondo so much. I feel like he's so shout out to Jim Cummings, who's the voice of him, who no joke, he has said this on James Arnold Taylor's like Clone Wars conversation show. Mm-hmm. Like about 80% of his lines for Hondo were improvised.
I believe it. Does that include Rebels?
I don't know about Rebels because he didn't talk about Rebels. He just talked about Clone Wars.
Okay. I believe it, especially in the Bounty Hunters arc, where he's with, what's her name? And it's like, is that my kid?
Oh, Aura Singh. Yeah.
Yeah, Aura Singh.
That bit. Which, so here's the funny thing about Hondo Onaka. So I have a OC. Her name is Koi. And so this started out as a joke in our little friend group, was what canon character would you ship your OC with if you could? And I said Hondo because it made the most sense, because she's a drunk party girl.
Who the hell did I say for Emira?
I don't remember. It was a while ago. But here's the thing. Everybody started like agreeing with me about Koi and Hondo being a thing, to the point where I mentioned it at a convention to Jim Cummings, and he said, I believe it, I can agree with that, to which that to us, that means that's canon. So Hondo and Koi are a thing, and it's hilarious. But yeah, I love Hondo. He's so funny. He's fun. I love the bit in the like younglings arc where he like gets launched in the air and he's like, I'm flying.
I love Hondo.
That's James' favorite line from Hondo.
Hondo
which is
has
amazing.
So many great lines.
Hondo's awesome.
Yeah.
I love the audio that's going around on TikTok right now where it's like insolence. We are pirates. We don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
I love that one. Oh, I love Hondo. He's awesome.
Hondo's great.
Hondo's great.
I can't wait to see the animatronic of him in a couple weeks.
I know. You're gonna go to Batu and it's gonna be great. I am going to cry when I go to Batu for the first time. I have not been, guys. I've never been. I have not been back to Disney World since I worked there in 2019. Oh my god.
You need to just come when Gabby's coming.
I know.
So that I'm not. I'll tell you plans I have for her off the air.
Plans off the air, yes.
Yes.
So
So
let's move from like the bad guy side of things to the sort of good people kind of.
well, well,
good guys.
my two are part of the Republic.
Mine
Yours
is not.
neutral. Yeah,
Mine
yours
is
is
not.
neutral.
Yeah.
I guess we'll start with Senator Tucci because
We love
her.
Chuchi. Love her.
Yeah, I spelled her name wrong on our notes. It's fine.
It's okay. I knew who you meant.
Yeah,
Our favorite Pantoran politician.
yeah, and I've loved her since the moment she was introduced in Clone Wars.
She's adorable. I love her.
She's adorable. But what made me really love her and put her on this list is Bad Batch.
Yeah. Oh
This
my
most
gosh.
recent season.
I didn't expect her to be in it.
I didn't expect her to be in it at all because I don't watch.
We're
trailers.
kind of
That is a
counting
big
Bad
thing
Batch
with
in this
me.
list because it's like directly after Clone Wars.
It's season 8 of Clone Wars.
In my opinion, yeah.
That's what Sean and I call it.
Really?
Season 8 and 9 of Clone Wars.
Yeah, I get that. But yeah, Chuchi, I wasn't expecting her to be in season 2 of Bad Batch.
What I see her in Bad Batch, I see what Padme would be doing if she survived.
Yes, literally. Yes.
Like, sure, probably Padme theoretically would be like hiding and like doing rebellion stuff from the backseat
With Bail, yeah.
with Bail and Mon Mothma.
Yeah.
But if she was still like able to be a public figure, she would be where Senator Tucci was, fighting for clones' rights.
She would. Because they are some of the few politicians that actually treat the clones like people. They're not property.
See this in her. Yeah, we see this in Padme's speech in the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
You know which one I'm talking about? The one where she's talking about anyone who fights in the Republic, they deserve.
Yep.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
But I love Senator Tucci, and she's just great. And
yeah, Chuchi's
an icon.
Yeah, I love her.
Yeah. I guess we can do the Duchess, and then we'll go to the Queen.
Yes, okay, so Duchess Satine Kryze. Put some respect on her name, Mandalorian!
Who? Yeah.
Literally.
Mandalorian and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Who?
Well, okay, Kenobi, I understand why we didn't do that.
True.
But, yeah, Mando, why? Why would you not mention her? At least once.
Especially, you haven't gotten to Bo and Rebels yet.
I have not.
But I am watching it right now. And like every 5 seconds, she's like, my sister Satine, my sister Satine. How dare you do this? My sister Satine, my sister Satine.
Maybe she used too many of them and now she can't do it anymore.
Come on. Can you like mention her at least?
Put some respect on her name.
On the Kryze name.
Literally. Yeah, I love Satine. And I love that so Anna Graves, who voiced Satine, she talked about like when she auditioned for her. Originally, Anna Graves, who voiced Satine Kryze, auditioned for Ahsoka.
Interesting. And it's so funny because Ashley auditioned for Padme.
Yeah.
Originally.
So Anna talked about when she auditioned for Ahsoka first, and she's like, I bombed that. I don't like it. And then like 2 days later, she got like a call back for it. And they're like, we're not gonna give you like the teenage girl role, but we want you to take a look at this Cate Blanchett kind of role. And she's based on Cate Blanchett in the Elizabeth movies that she did, which sprung her to the forefront of Hollywood back in the day. So that's who Duchess Satine Kryze is based on. And we all know that Satine is named after Ewan McGregor's love interest in Moulin Rouge.
Actually, Dave Filoni has said that that's false.
What?
Where he did not know that that was Ewan McGregor's love interest name in Moulin Rouge.
Well, now that, everybody like, makes jokes about it.
Liked the name. And like it wasn't until people started making jokes about it
that he realized
on social media that he realized.
So I actually made a joke about that to James Arnold Taylor when I met him. I said because so a few months ago there was a viral video going around on TikTok of Ashley Eckstein and James Arnold Taylor talking about like wouldn't it be cool if there was like a musical episode doing like of Satine and Obi-Wan when they're young. Literally. I went up to him at the con and I was like, first off, there is one. It's called Moulin Rouge. He's like, you are not the first person to make that joke to me. So that was funny. I love Satine. And you know, a lot of people are like, she's kind of a damsel in distress. And I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. No, she actually can fight. And she actually does everything that she can because she just wants a good thing she wants good for her planet. I totally understand that. And she was probably way too young when she took the throne.
Yeah, she was. She definitely was.
And she just wants good for her planet. And I totally understand that. And she loves Obi-Wan. Yeah. Literally. And she said the word, he would have left the Jedi Order. He would have left the Jedi Order for her. And I'm pretty sure they have a secret love child, but
I'm pretty sure they do.
Pretty sure Corky Kryze.
Kenobi. Yeah.
Corky is a Kenobi.
I'm sorry.
He is.
Have you seen the pictures of that one kid that was in Mando?
Yeah, I don't believe that's Corky though.
I don't, but I'd like to pretend like it is.
It's nice to pretend, but I don't think it's Corky. Yeah, I love Satine. I love her story, and I hate that it ends so tragically. But she was awesome.
You know, your favorite dark side person.
Yeah,
is the one reason she's dead, right?
I'm aware that Maul killed Satine. I'm aware of that. And I hate that I'm aware of that. Oh, especially because I had to rewatch those episodes for research because I was doing a thing. And I had to rewatch those and I'm like, I hate that I love both these characters and he killed her. But yeah, I love Satine and I wish that we had gotten more of her and put some damn respect on her name. Please.
Come on. Especially like somewhere in this past season where it was Bo trying to take on the mantle of Mandalore and being ruler of Mandalore. Why did she never mention her sister?
How?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Make it make sense, Dave Filoni.
Make it make sense, please. Or Jon Favreau, whoever.
Yeah. Well.
Somebody stop me.
Okay. Well, I can talk about our queen.
Yes.
So, I love Padme Amidala. I feel like everyone
Padme is
knows this
awesome.
too.
I love her.
I love her. So I love Natalie Portman's portrayal of Padme in the prequel movies.
But Catherine Tabor,
However,
though.
Catherine Tabor is my Padme.
Yes.
She,
Literally.
like, sure, we see, especially in Phantom Menace, Padme being this strong queen and, like, having a presence.
She was 14 when she took the frickin' throne of Naboo.
Yeah.
Ma'am.
But as soon as Attack of the Clones came around and they made her fall in love with Anakin, she lost all of herself.
Yeah. Revenge
in
of
her
the
fighting
Sith,
in the prequels.
Padme would not do the things that Clone Wars Padme does.
Yeah. And something I love is, so I listen to all the audiobooks of the Padme books. And for those of you who don't know, Catherine Tabor actually reads those books.
Yes. Queen.
And they bring such a life to the character. And a scene that always sticks out to me, and I mean, is after she's dead, and it's Sabe cleaning out Padme's office on Coruscant.
Oh.
And looking at all the things that Padme never got to complete. All the policies she wanted to enact. There were stuff about freeing slaves all around the galaxy. And giving
that probably would
clones
apply
rights.
to clones. Yeah, I was gonna say that would probably apply to the clone stuff. Literally, Chuchi is
And-
doing Padme's work.
Yeah.
I wonder if Sabe gave some of that to Chuchi.
Probably.
That could be
Or
a
Bail.
headcanon. Or Bail, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I forget the name of it, but it's the Attack of the Clones, or the prequel to Attack of the Clones Padme book.
Mm-hmm.
Because I haven't read the newest one. That is Attack of the Clones Padme. Or like right after Attack of the Clones, her first year with the war.
Mm-hmm.
But in her first year as senator in that book, it's talking about what was I gonna say? Oh, that book starts off with like election day for the new queen who's taking on Padme's place.
Yeah.
And the planet of Naboo loved Padme so much that they were gonna break its law about
They were gonna change the constitution.
The queen. They were gonna change the constitution so she could serve more than just 2 terms.
Yeah.
Because she did more for Naboo in those 4 years. And I love her dearly. And I wish we had gotten to see her actually enact some of these policies.
I wish we could have too, because I love Padme.
Oh, this is what I was gonna say. The whole like law about the slaves was in reference to Shmi.
Yeah. She wanted to free Shmi. And like everybody else on Tatooine.
So in the first year of Senator before Attack of the Clones book, Padme sends Sabe on a mission to Tatooine to try to free Shmi.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah. And this is before she falls in love with Anakin.
She just still cared about him. She's like, look, I care about him and I want him to have his mother in his life.
Yeah.
Which good on her.
Yeah.
Her so much.
I do too. So like I don't know. I hate when people are like who have only seen the prequels hate on Padme because
they don't
of
understand
all this stuff. They don't understand her true nature.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, the other thing about Clone Wars is that it really sheds light on how toxic the Padme and Anakin relationship is. Like, the Clovis arcs. Oh! Padme really
Speaking
said,
of
like,
least
red flags.
favorite people.
Oh my god, freaking Clovis.
What is the Jedi's name?
Pong Krell. Pong
Yeah,
Krell.
Pong Krell.
We'll talk about him when we get to my favorite arcs.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I have a rant.
Same. But yeah, Clovis.
Oh, Clovis. How I
Also,
hate you so.
Padme is our bisexual queen.
Yes, she is. We
The Padme
stand.
novels confirm it.
I love that for
Technically.
her.
Yeah. And
No,
I mean, this isn't Padme, but I think the scene that I always think too is it's in the Leia, Princess of Alderaan book.
Mm-hmm.
And Leia is on Naboo and like spells something on her dress, and the current queen of Naboo is like, okay, let's go like find you a new one, and gives her a white ceremonial Naboo dress.
Oh.
In the like illustrated novelization version of the thing,
Mm-hmm.
it's Padme's dress from the end of Phantom Menace.
The one with the like circle thing?
Yeah.
Prize.
Yeah. And in that, Captain Panaka, who was Padme's guard
Captain Pancakes.
Yeah, Captain Pancakes in Phantom Menace, he walks in the room and he's on the Imperial side. Because remember, this is Leia.
He's an imp. He's an imp.
Yeah. And he looks at this young princess of Naboo and
Of
sees
Alderaan.
and realizes.
Yeah.
And Saw Gerrera kills him before he can tell the Empire, hey, yo, I think Padme's daughter is Princess Leia of Alderaan.
Good thing he did!
Yeah!
Because Captain Pancakes would have blown this whole thing out of the water.
Captain Pancakes probably would have gotten the Death Star on Alderaan way sooner.
Probably.
But yeah, I love Padme dearly, and
I love her too.
yeah.
I
deserves to be with Sabe.
Yeah.
She deserves to be with the lesbian,
Not
or one of the
Anakin.
lesbian handmaidens.
Oh my god.
My favorite thing is most of those handmaidens are LGBTQ in some way.
I love that.
Well, two of her handmaidens literally married each other and adopted kids from the like orphanage.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like if the development from Clone Wars had like, I know like it physically is not possible considering Clone Wars came out after after Revenge of the Sith, but wouldn't it be, I feel like the energy that we would get from like if development and heroism of Clone Wars Padme had gone and had translated into Revenge of the Sith Padme, it would have been like an Eliza Hamilton situation.
Oh, it would have been.
Where she's like, I can do all these things without you.
Yeah.
Probably.
I feel like
just saying.
If we got Clone Wars Padme in Revenge of the Sith, Padme's shoes would be like first burn.
It literally would have been like first burn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, should we talk about Padme's wedding present to Anakin?
Literally, yes.
This was his wedding present.
Yeah. He's our favorite droid.
3PO was Anakin's wedding present to Padme.
You know, non-suspicious wedding presents.
Yeah. Here's my clone.
Oh my gosh.
I love R2.
R2D2.
So here's the thing. Since we're only doing Clone Wars and not all of animated Star Wars, my list would have been very different when we did all of animated Star Wars.
Yeah, we would have. Yeah, because I know exactly who your droid would have been.
I would have done the War Criminal. We all know
Criminal.
This. But yes. R2 was my first favorite droid.
Yeah. I love him.
Love him dearly.
I
think honestly one of my favorite arcs with him in it is the Zygerian arc.
Really?
Which is my number 4 favorite arc in Clone Wars. Because of him saving the day with Padme's on the brain. With Anakin, shooting Anakin his lightsaber before like Ahsoka could get hurt or anything.
No, I love R2 as well. He's amazing. And here's the thing. I know you and I have this joke where every time, like, I feel like R2 swears like a sailor.
Yeah.
He's been dealing with the Skywalker's crap for way too long.
Yeah.
And every time he does his wow scream, I feel like it's him saying, "What the?"
Yeah.
Probably is.
I love him. I love him dearly.
I just want there to be one day, and Scott has said this on my podcast. He has said that like one day you like hear him beeping or something, and then somebody says the language on this droid. I need that.
Yeah.
At some point.
I feel like I've seen somewhere before Dave Filoni saying that R2D2 is the family dog and Chopper is the family cat.
I think that's accurate.
It's so accurate, which is my favorite
really
quote
accurate.
of Dave Filoni talking about
that is
these
really
two droids.
accurate. That's funny.
And my favorite thing is, so my OC Kana, who's Jedi Master is Plo Koon, as we mentioned earlier.
Yes.
I was making her one of her two droids, and he's a
Mhm.
C1 unit. Named CG is his nickname. But I was describing his personality to JJ, who's making a Padawan for Kano,
Mm-hmm.
as a mixture between R2D2 and Chopper, and he went, "Oh, the chaos of that droid." I went, "Yeah,
Yeah. But R2D2. Love
R2,
him.
yeah."
R2
Love
is
him.
great.
I have gotten a picture with R2D2 on my Star Wars Day at Sea Cruise.
Aww.
And I was
I've
dressed
got
up
one
as Leia that
BB-8.
day. I was dressed up as Leia that day. And
Sobbing.
I did the picture.
Babies. Cries. Guys, that's funny.
Yeah.
I love that. So, because we are in the Clone Wars, of course we have to pay homage
I can't
To-
choose.
to the king of the Clone Wars, D. Bradley Baker, the voice of all of the clones. Oh my god.
You're making me choose between my babies.
I'm sorry.
I didn't even write down all of my favorites. I wrote down 5.
You did. You did.
I mean, technically, you wrote down 1, 2, and then
I wrote
7.
technically I wrote 7 because I included a group.
Yeah,
So, okay, so you and I have our top favorite, which is the tie.
Rex.
Rex! Baby boy! I love him so
love
much.
Rex so much.
Season 7
I
makes
cried
me cry.
recently because of Star Wars Rebels and Rex.
Oh god.
You haven't gotten to the episode yet that I cried at Rex.
Don't tell me. Don't
I
tell
won't.
me anything. Oh my
But,
gosh. I love Rex.
I love Rex. One, that he continues the fight. He's
Mhm.
the only clone. It's Wolf, Gregor, and Rex when we see them in
Yep.
season 2? Beginning of
Yes.
season 2?
Yes.
And he's the only one that comes back to the fight
Yeah.
after losing everything.
Baby.
Like, I feel like everyone focuses on Ahsoka's loss during Order 66.
Yeah. He lost his
But
brothers.
Rex lost his brothers.
All of them.
All of them. Besides the few that he's been able to save during, like, Bad Batch.
Yeah.
But the 501st,
Oh my god.
they were in the front lines of Order 66
Yes, they were.
with Anakin. They were
if-
the ones storming the galaxy.
Honestly,
or
if
storming the temple.
if Rex had not been on Mandalore with Ahsoka, he would have been in the temple slaughtering kids.
Yeah.
And I can't get over that.
No. I love him so much.
I love Rex so much. He's
And I
amazing.
love-
he's our boy.
Yeah. And I love his relationship with Ahsoka.
Like their brother sister relationship is so cute.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I still love in my experience.
What?
It, in
Or,
I can't
In
remember
my
the
book,
exact line.
experience.
In my book, I can't remember the word.
in my book, experience
Experience
outranks everything.
everything.
Well, then I think I should get experience.
I love them.
And then they make a callback to that in Rebels at some point.
Oh yes, I've heard it. Yes.
Yeah.
Rex is one of my favorites. He's
Same.
literally like, oh my gosh, I love him. He's fun. and
Yeah.
he knows how to adapt to a situation because his clone general was Anakin Skywalker. He's been dealing with Anakin's crap for way
And
too
my
long.
favorite thing, I know I said I wouldn't talk much about Rebels or Bad Batch, but I have to with Rex.
Mm-hmm.
Him being like, oh, he's no Skywalker every time Kanan does something.
Every time Kanan does something reckless.
He's like, oh, he's no Skywalker, but I guess.
But like on the real though. Oh my gosh. You know what arc like terrified me?
What?
Because it was the clones. The frickin' Geonosis, the Geonosis like worm things.
Yeah.
That scared the crap out of me because I'm like, no, don't hurt the clones, please, babies.
Yeah.
That was early on. That was before I knew. Before I knew about a certain arc that we will talk about.
And I see that we both have fives on our list.
Yes. I love fives.
Same.
The Fives Conspiracy Order 66 arc is one of the best arcs. It's so well done. Fives is one of my favorite characters. Like he's so, like, and the thing is, we see him. If you watch Clone Wars in chronological order, Rookies is the first episode we see.
Yeah.
That's where we meet him.
Yeah.
And oh my god, seeing him grow as a character from like clumsy rule following baby to
Good soldiers follow orders.
no cries. I love fives, and I loved his conspiracy arc.
Same.
I think that honestly the conspiracy arc is one of the best. I think it's D. Bradley Baker's best voice acting he does in this entire series.
Same.
I really think so, because like
not overall in Star Wars for me.
Okay, that's fair. I think in Clone Wars, just Clone Wars, I think the best acting that he did in that series was the Fives conspiracy arc.
Mm-hmm. Because overall for me, it has to be Bad Batch, especially this most recent season.
Oh yeah.
Especially Hunter after Tech.
Oh my gosh. We both have members of the Bad Batch on here.
I technically have two.
You technically have two, but I have all of them.
I know.
I love the Bad Batch so much. They're babies.
Yeah, I almost wrote down the full Bad Batch, but I was like, I'm gonna choose my faves.
If we're talking about like faves of the Bad Batch, mine is Tech. We all know mine is Tech. And that is stop laughing.
That's rough for you, buddy.
I'm aware it's rough for me. It's fine. Until we see a body, I am maintaining he's alive.
That's me with Plo Koon then, and you say I'm crazy.
I never said you're crazy. Hey, if James believes it. If James believes it, we can say Plo Koon is alive. No, I love Tech. Tech is honestly the main reason I love him, and I've said this before, to you out of off the air. He reminds me of my boyfriend a lot.
I see it.
He definitely reminds me of Brayden, not just because I think they look a lot alike, because they do. But because when
in Star Celebration finally comes to Orlando after Japan, because I'm betting it's now going to be after Japan.
Yeah.
He needs to cosplay.
We need to go see D.
He needs to cosplay Tech.
Yes. I will not cosplay Fee. I will cosplay as other characters, but I do love Tech and Fee. They're so cute.
Did I send you that TikTok?
Yes, you did.
I saw?
You did.
Okay.
You're the third person to send me that. Everybody's been sending me angsty Tech TikToks, and I hate it.
Well, if I have to see it, you have to see it.
Yeah, that is fair. But yeah, I love Tech. He reminds me of a boyfriend. He especially like the moments where he like doesn't know what to do when Fee is flirting with him. That's Brayden with me. It's adorable. Oh my gosh.
So I guess I'll do Hunter and then Echo.
Yes. Yeah, do Hunter and Echo.
Okay. So Echo, I love him dearly, especially like what we see of him in Clone Wars, but then really him becoming the mother of the Bad Batch.
He is the mom. He is the freaking mom. Hunter's
He's
the
had to deal
dad.
with Skywalker bullshit for the
He is a
last
mom.
how many years?
Yeah.
He can raise Omega.
I feel like he could raise Omega on his own if he wanted to, but I don't think he wants to.
Oh, he definitely doesn't want to. That's why he left.
Mm-hmm.
But I love him, especially like he went through a lot. Not saying that other clones didn't,
Mm-hmm.
but after he was kidnapped, they made him basically into a machine.
Yeah.
He's more robot than man at this point.
Yeah. Sadness.
And I just love him dearly.
I love him.
But
as well.
anyway, Hunter.
Cries.
I love Hunter. I love him so much. I loved him when we first got introduced to Clone Force 99 in Bad Batch or in
Yeah.
Clone
The
Wars.
Bad Batch are essentially the Ninja Turtles of
Yeah.
I know, literally no joke, when Brayden and I watched season 7, we watched it and I'm like, oh my god, this is Ninja Turtles in Star Wars.
And I love him doing his best to keep his family together.
Yes.
Because that is Hunter to a T.
Yeah.
Is trying to keep the family together.
Yeah.
And I love him.
He's dad.
And then my last
We all know why you
favorite,
chose your last one.
it's Wolf.
Yep.
I just wrote really sad stuff with Kana and Wolf, so I had to put him on this list.
Of course you did.
I wrote post Order 66 stuff with Wolf and Kana.
How dare you?
Well, I forgot that he lived, or like that he's in Rebels.
Yeah.
Somehow I just forgot he was in Rebels. I like wrote this whole story for Kana and him, and it works.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird how well it works, and so it must have been somewhere in my mind. But come on, he's part of Close Battalion. He's the leader of Wolf.
He's the leader of the wolf pack, which if you guys look on their ship, there is some nose art that they painted on it. And if you translate the Orabesh, it says Plows Boys. So cute.
And that's part of Close Boys.
Yes, you are. And my character is part of Death Watch. Technically, my character is part of, like, depending on the timeline, either the 501st or she's part of a like separate thing. Okay, so we've gone through all our characters. It's taken us so long.
Yeah.
Let's talk about our favorite arcs.
So it kind of recently has changed for me.
Really?
So I always maintained that my top 3 favorites were Ahsoka leaving the temple, Mortis, and the Zygerian arc.
Yes.
But come on, Siege of Mandalore.
Siege of Mandalore. Best lightsaber fight ever.
Yeah.
Literally best lightsaber fight in all of Star Wars, in my opinion.
And I know I've also talked about this on the show before. But without Clone Wars, Sean and I wouldn't be together.
Yes.
And in about, what is it? Hold on, let me check.
Today's the 21st.
So 2 weeks and 1 day from the day we're recording this is he and my 3-year anniversary.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is really weird to think about. But the Siege of Mandalore, so season 7, I loved season 7 so much when it was coming out.
Yeah.
And it started right before the pandemic. So what I would do when it was first coming out was, and I was still up here at school, is I would go to my morning class, which would end around like 9 o'clock because I think it was an 8 a.m. class. It was in the building right next to Sean's dorm that he was living in. So like as friends every morning, I would just go to his room. We'd have like breakfast together and watch the new episode of Clone Wars.
Oh my gosh.
And then the pandemic came and we had to stop that because we weren't around each other.
Yeah.
And then came the end of the Siege of Mandalore arc, where we had made plans for May the 4th, which ended up being May the 6th because I ended up working on May the 4th with the family I used to babysit for, to watch the final arc of Clone Wars together, since that show is kind of how I got to know him in the first place. And that day is when he asked me to be his girlfriend, is when he came over.
Oh
so
my
May
gosh.
6th of 2023. So without the Siege of Mandalore arc,
Wow.
Sean and I wouldn't be together.
That's hilarious. It's amazing.
But in all seriousness, I love this arc because of, and we didn't even get to talk about her really in our favorite characters episode, or like part of this. But the first time you see Bo and Ahsoka is kind of an oof and kind of weird moment.
Yeah. Because we don't
Well,
know that's Bo, technically.
Technically, but
Not until later.
Not until later. But like her spanking Ahsoka.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so like
I hate when I always forget about it and then I'm reminded of it, and I hate that I'm reminded of it.
Yeah. So seeing their relationship go from that to taking down Maul.
Yeah.
On Mandalore. And then seeing Ahsoka, because of course we've seen like Yoda and Cal Kestis' master and all those kind of characters feel the Order 66 happening.
Yeah.
And understand it. Or like, and kind of come to grips of what's going on before it actually happens to them. But seeing it with Ahsoka.
Oh my gosh. It hurts.
Of course, Maul knows.
Maul knows exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
He knows Sidious's name and decides, okay, I will tell you who this secret Sith Lord is, but you gotta kill your brother.
Yeah.
And she says no.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. The Siege of Mandalore is one of the best arcs.
Yeah.
And it's animated beautifully.
Yeah.
The fact that they used mocap with Ray Park for
That's
the
awesome.
Maul versus Ahsoka fight.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
I
love it.
Dearly.
Yeah. You know what? I'll change that. Yeah, that's my number 3. Definitely, like, I know originally on our list we have anything with Maul, which is true. I do love everything.
Which, I mean, Maul is in the Siege of Mandalore.
No, literally, Siege of Mandalore is one of the best arcs ever.
Yeah.
It's not one of the ones I go back and watch all the time just because, hurts. But
Same. Order 66 real hurts.
Oh, Dave Filoni, why do you like to just bring us back to that so many times? Okay. Let's talk about the arc that the other arc that you and I have in common.
So 2 and 1.
Yeah, 2 and so her number 2,
my second. Yeah.
My number 1. The Mortis
so,
arc.
Without the Mortis arc, I wouldn't have met Gabby to start off.
Really?
So let me explain this a little bit better.
A little bit.
So the Clone Wars musical, going back to that, when that was first starting on TikTok, the
Mhm.
first ever video I duetted Alex with was Ahsoka's Dark Side.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That took
And then
wow,
that's
that
how Alex and I
that's so long. That feels
became
so long
friends.
ago. Yeah.
And I became friends with Gabby through Alex and Ashley.
And then me.
And then you. You were later.
I was later. I was late to
You
the
were
party.
after Gabby and I like became besties because we made our OCs be married to each other.
Literally.
Because
Yeah.
she and I were not friends before that, really.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
we were kind of friends, but it was after making Emra and Gabriella.
Yeah. I will say the Mortis arc for me. The Mortis arc for me is very personal.
Yeah.
So I won't get too much into it.
No. It also has a little bit of Clone Wars musical to do with.
Yeah, it does. So I wrote 2 songs for the Clone Wars musical that may it rest in peace.
Yeah.
I wrote Song of the Sun. I did not I just wrote the lyrics for it. And basically what happened was I watched the scene where the sun shows Anakin the future. I watched that scene like 6 times in a row.
Wow.
No, literally, it would stop, play again, play again. I literally did that. And I watched that over and over again, and I knocked out the lyrics in about like maybe 2 hours. And then we composed it for another. We whacked it out that night.
Wow.
And yeah. And one of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to play it for Sam Witwer.
Yeah. Which you have.
Which, but to get to that, I got to play it for him when I went to C2E2 a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I played it for him. I was like, so we tried to do Clone Wars the musical, and I wrote a song for the Son of Mortis. Would you like to hear it? He said, yes, play it. I pulled it up on my phone. I played it for him. He was very intent listening. He was like really intense listening to it. And I did that. And I song was done, put my phone away, and I looked at him and he said, take a bow. Sam Witwer said, take a bow. That was amazing.
Yeah.
And inwardly, I started bawling.
Yeah.
Because I was so proud of that song. I'm still so proud of it. And it means a lot that he really loved it. And also, I love the Mortis arc not only because of him, because that's where we first see Sam. That was pre-Maul. He was the Son of Mortis first.
Mm-hmm.
And he got that role because of Force Unleashed, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally, he got that role, and the chick who plays the daughter, she also got that role because she was also in Force Unleashed, which was being made at the same time as Clone Wars.
Yeah.
So, and that arc is famously where Sam Witwer out-geeked Dave Filoni in front of everybody.
Yeah, we'll get to that story after we finish with our last 2 arcs.
Yeah, but yeah, the Mortis arc means a lot to me.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's also, we start to understand where the Force comes from.
Yeah.
And what it is. And the fact
Ahsoka
that,
becomes the daughter.
Yeah, and Sam Witwer said if Ahsoka has Morai, her little owl friend, then the son is probably alive in something somewhere. We just don't know.
I have a theory that it's Anakin and Vader.
You think it's Anakin and Vader? I don't.
You don't?
No, I don't believe that.
Where do you think it is then?
I think it's somebody we haven't met.
Okay.
Or it's not a Force sensitive person.
Okay.
But someone worse. I think you know who I'm thinking. I think the sun is connected to Thrawn in some way.
Ah, yeah.
Who were you thinking?
I could see that. I don't know. I was like, non-force sensitive. What?
I feel like Thrawn.
Yeah.
feel like it's Thrawn.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. That's just my theory personally.
Yeah.
Plus it would be really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I love the Mortis arc. It's so cool, like mystically and story wise, and it's just so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, personally, it just means a lot to me.
Yeah. Same. This podcast wouldn't exist without the Mortis arc.
It would. Because me. That's how we became friends. Was me writing.
That's how Gabby and I became friends because of the Clone Wars musical.
Literally, yeah.
And then my favorite arc is Ahsoka leaving the temple.
Knew it.
That is the biggest piece of character development we see of her in Clone Wars, besides Siege of Mandalore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially realizing what Barriss had done.
Oh my god. Yeah.
And how Barriss betrayed her.
Yeah.
And losing that friend. Not only going on the run and like trying to free herself from everyone's thoughts about her, but going in and being like, how could Barriss do this to me?
Her best friend.
Her best friend.
Yeah.
And I love how I keep mentioning the Clone Wars musical. I just can't stop today.
Well, it's hard not to when it comes to that arc.
Yeah. But the song I was gonna mention is the one that Gabby wrote, Grey Jedi.
Yeah.
And I love that song. I still sing it to myself today. I literally sang it earlier today, just like chilling in my room. And the line that always sticks out to me is, I guess Barriss was right.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the thing is, yeah, that's the hardest part.
That's the hardest part for her is
when you go through Clone Wars as a whole and the prequels as a whole.
Yeah.
The people that were right about the Jedi Order, about the Republic, about all this are the bad guys.
Yeah.
The people that we perceive as villains. It's Barriss, it's Dooku, it's Ventress. They're all right.
Yeah.
About what happens.
Yeah. And I love it not only for her character, because I remember hearing something that Ashley Eckstein was saying once about how people were, after Ahsoka was introduced, were like, oh, she has to be killed off before Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, that was a confirmed
because
thing that Dave Filoni confirmed this.
Yeah.
That when Clone Wars was being made, George had a rule. Where George Lucas had a rule where he said anyone who's a main character that isn't in Revenge of the Sith has to be killed off before Revenge of the Sith. Which led Ashley Eckstein, rightfully so, to think that Ahsoka was gonna get killed.
Yeah.
Dave Filoni found a loophole to keep his baby. Literally, Ahsoka is his baby. Multiple times, yeah.
This man has now. Ahsoka lives.
She does.
Yeah. But I love this arc so much.
It's a very good arc. It's very well done.
You want to talk about your favorite arc real quick?
Okay, so this is not necessarily like my personally favorite arc, but I feel like from a narrative perspective, it's really interesting. The Umbara arc, which is essentially Vietnam for Clone Wars. It's literally Vietnam. Oh my gosh. Pong Krell, in my opinion, is the worst character ever. Not in terms of like fandom hating him or something. No, he is just the worst character because
Yeah.
he tries to get the clones to kill each other for his own pleasure, essentially.
Yeah.
It's awful. And so when I watched Clone Wars the first time during quarantine, I knew that like Umbara was a big arc emotionally. I had no idea why though. No one would tell me when I'd ask about it when I was like in the midst of watching everything. I'm like, I'm on Umbara. Oh my gosh, I'm excited to see Rex get character development. I didn't expect it to be like that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And to see
I
Rex
don't know,
and Boyle get killed.
Yeah.
Oh god. No, I love the Umbara arc because it's tragic. It's awful.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so well done. Like cinematically.
Yeah.
I could see it being a movie.
I could too.
Like much like how the Clone Wars movie was the first 4 episodes. I could see them doing something similar with Umbara.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And that's another arc where D. Bradley Baker is like at some of his best voice acting.
Yeah.
Because he plays most of the characters
the
in
finale of Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Or the season finale of season 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I meant. Not
Umbara makes me cry.
Yeah.
I watched it with Brayden and I texted him. He was ahead of me. He had watched Umbara prior to me.
Yeah.
I texted Brayden and I was like, I'm sobbing. He's like, did you finish Umbara? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Because he knew it was coming and didn't know how to prepare me. Because he knew how emotionally attached I was to the clones.
I love the clones.
Oh my gosh, me too. I love them so much.
So, shall we talk about our favorite voice actors for a bit?
Yes. Cheers up, yes.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the man we have mentioned the most throughout this episode, James Arnold Taylor.
Which I have not actually met.
I have.
I know. But I did have like...
You had a moment with him.
I had a moment with him during MegaCon 2022.
Yes.
I was walking around like the little like actors like signing area,
their little autograph area.
Like, autograph alley, that's what it's called. MegaCon.
Yeah.
And I'm walking there. It's Friday, so it was the day before I would be meeting Ashley Eckstein and Matt Lanter. So Ahsoka and Anakin.
And James was a last minute guest at this con.
So was Matt.
Oh really? Okay, I thought it was just James.
No, so Matt was announced the Friday before. James was announced the Monday before.
Yeah.
So they were very close to each other at announcing. But so Sean and I had immediately bought Matt Lanter's tickets as soon as we found out that he was going to be there.
Yeah, because it's Matt.
Because it's Matt. But we didn't realize that James Arnold Taylor was, because we probably would have just done the Clone Wars trio.
Yeah.
On top of just meeting
Had we known.
But I'm walking around like Autograph Alley, just like trying to see what actors I could like maybe get a glimpse at.
Mm-hmm.
My friend Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the Friday of MegaCon, so I'm dressed as Spider-Gwen. Of all characters I cosplay. And I'm walking around and I hear Tyler go, Spider-Gwen, turn around. And it's Ashley, James, and Ashley's husband.
Oh, yes.
Dave Eckstein.
Yes.
I couldn't remember his name.
The baseball player.
Yeah, the baseball
From my
player.
hometown.
No. Well, he played baseball in your hometown.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But his childhood hometown is Sanford, Florida, which is 15 minutes from my house.
Oh my god.
And there is a couple that goes to my church that were best friends with Dave Eckstein, of all people, when they were in high school together, and they still haven't gotten me to like meet them.
That's hilarious.
Still mad at that. But anyway, I'm walking around and I hear Tyler go, Spider-Gwen, look. And like earlier in the day, I had a bunch of kids run up to me, and I thought I was about to kneel. And literally, like, probably as close as this mic is from me, is how close James Arnold Taylor, Ashley, and Dave were to me. And James,
Oh my god!
I'm like, James is like, oh, I wish I could stop to talk, but you look amazing.
That's so sweet.
And I was like,
Oh my
like
god.
out of body experience. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's awesome.
I want to
So-
meet him. So bad.
Okay,
Princess
so
Kana.
I know you want to meet him, Princess Kana. So I met James at C2E2 2023 this year, which was a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like my top person that I wanted to meet besides
You
Sam
promised me
Witwer.
you'd meet him with me.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
How dare you?
I'm sorry. If you guys don't know, a few months ago, prior to C2E2 and knowing that James was a guest, Emma and I made a promise to each other we'd only meet James Arnold Taylor if we met him together.
And she broke the promise.
I'm sorry. I have to take the chances when I get them. But yeah,
That's what I should have done at MegaCon.
Yeah.
Not just with him, with Kevin Conroy.
Kevin. Yeah. I'm
Still
sorry.
forever upset that I will never get to meet Kevin Conroy.
I'm sorry. But yeah, James, I met him all 3 days. I basically was hanging out at his. I basically stalked him at his table. It was me and my best friend Adrian.
And you're in like every single picture day of him.
Yeah, so James, if you guys don't know, he posts cosplay compilations of his favorite costumes and fans that he met throughout like every single day.
Yeah.
He posted me and Adrian, mostly me because I was by myself the first time, every single day.
Yeah.
Of that weekend, which is mind-boggling. And like first time I met him, I talked about like Obi-Wan and I talked about like the Clone Wars musical a little bit and I was so excited.
Yeah.
And then I was really nervous. I got his autograph as Obi-Wan and I took a picture with him and he was super sweet. And it was awesome. And then we met up with him again in the afternoon because Adrian wanted to get his autograph from because he was the voice of Tidus in Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
And we were talking to him and like we were waiting in line for a bit and we were talking to his daughter Lydia, who is the sweetest.
Oh yeah.
I love her. She was like, please come back tomorrow. Wait, she's like, do you guys have cosplay plans like throughout the weekend? And we're like, yeah, we're gonna do Tiana and Charlotte from Princess and the Frog tomorrow, and then we're doing like our dark side characters on Sunday. And she's like, please come back tomorrow, I want to see your costumes. And so on Saturday we did exactly that. And and we went up to him and we're like, sorry James, we're not here for you. Hi Lydia. Yeah, we did that. It was so funny. He thought it was awesome. So we talked to him, we said hi to him every day, and it was awesome. He was super sweet. And I realized on Saturday where I had first heard him, like his voice in my childhood. And it was in Kids Next Door. That was on Cartoon Network. You guys might remember that show. Where he was the voice of many characters, but the character I remember he did the most was King Sandy, who's a bad guy. Okay. And D. Bradley Baker voices one of the main characters, who is King Sandy's adversary. So I told James, I was like, so when I watch those episodes, all I hear is tiny Obi-Wan Kenobi screaming at tiny Captain Rex. Yeah. And he pulled the King Sandy voice out of nowhere and just started talking as him. And I was like,
I love James.
I love James too.
I did go to so unfortunately, of course, I wasn't able to meet James at the con, but they did a Clone Wars panel because they had Ashley, Matt, and James there. So they did a panel together, the three of them.
This at MegaCon.
Yeah, at MegaCon. Yeah. And I forget what the question was at this point. Oh, there were two questions that I laughed at.
Okay.
Or three. There were three. One of them was...
I have another James story when you're done.
So someone had asked, like, what do you think Ahsoka and Anakin's reactions to finding about Obi-Wan and Satine were?
And I feel like James is contractually obligated not to answer any Corky Kryze questions.
So it wasn't technically about Corky Kryze. There was another one about Corky Kryze, and he was like, I hold opinions. And Ashley was like, he's their son.
She said it? I love that.
But in that, what I remember the most is Matt doing, like, standing up and being like, the whole time.
He did that whole bit from Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yes. As Anakin at
That's
Obi-Wan
funny.
with Satine's relationship.
That's
But
amazing.
the other thing was someone had asked him a question and he kept on just doing voices. And something that Ashley and Matt both talked about in that panel were they were new to voice acting. They were the babies of the group.
They were the babies, yes.
And they had some of the greats.
Yeah, they literally did.
To train them. So
they had James, they had Corey Burton, they had Dee.
They had Jim Cummings.
Cummings, they had Phil Lamar. They had like all these legendary voice actors.
I'd like James is like, don't put me with these guys. They're way more talented voice actors than me.
James.
Excuse you, James. Incorrect,
sir. So I also had a Clone Wars panel, but with the addition of the guests for the Clone Wars guests that we had at C2E2 was Ashley, James, Matt, and Sam Witwer.
Okay.
And so we had the four of them, and I was lucky enough to get in line and ask a question to the entire panel.
Okay. Yeah.
My question was, if you could choose a Disney song as your character's theme song, what would it be? And I had my own guesses. But I asked what their guesses would be. And Ashley said go to
argue with James's answer because his is not Disney.
Yeah, but he's saying it's okay. So his was so Ashley said Go the Distance from Hercules, which is the guess that I went with, coincidentally. And Matt Matt Lanter, he said, if Anakin had just let it go, everything would have been fine. And everybody started dying. And Sam face palmed. And James Arnold Taylor, this lovely man, he's like, well, it's not a Disney song, but, and then he pulled out this piece of paper that he wrote on, and he started singing, as Obi-Wan Kenobi, I am the very model of a modern major general. And he started singing that. I'm like, that's fair. And he sang like a whole verse of it, and it was beautiful. And it was Obi-Wan Kenobi. Somebody give that man an award.
Yeah.
And Sam, he couldn't come up with anything because he just wasn't expecting it. And apparently, Ashley said, I've worked with Disney so many times, I have never been asked that question. I got to ask that question, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But Sam, he couldn't come up with one, but agreed with my picks. And my picks for Maul were Hellfire from Hunchback, because it is the darkest of the dark, and Be Prepared from Lion King, which is very Maul. But yeah, it was, and then we, met up with James again, and he took pictures of us, and it was really awesome. Mm-hmm. And we said, thank you so much. We're going to be shooting off to go home now. And he was so sweet. But yeah, I love James. I love James so much.
So, because I have a Matt story. I don't know if you do.
I have a Matt story, yes.
Okay.
I have a Matt Lanter story.
So, mine was also from MegaCon 2022.
We're going to have a lot of the same con stories.
Well, so this is
stories from the same con from each other.
Except for Ashley, because I've now seen her like 3 different times.
I've met her once.
I've only met her once, but I've been in the same proximity as her 3 times.
Yeah. Okay, what's your Matt story? What's your Matt Lanter story?
So, when we got the photo with him,
yeah.
So we had just met Ashley, and I was still like,
yeah,
reeling from that. And we get in line, and like Matt had no line at MegaCon because he was such a
He
last
didn't have a
minute
line at
guest.
C2E2 either.
Really?
He had hardly a line.
So
Hardly a line.
we got like 5 minutes with him
Same.
for photos. Because we did photos with him. And, you know, Sean is in his like Anakin Jedi robes, and I'm full Ahsoka.
Yes.
And he and I were talking, and he's like, so what pose do you want to do now? And we were like, well, Ashley and I, we just did the Force. And he's like, oh, well, do you want to do the same thing? We can find something else. Like, being all
He wanted to
mad
outdo
about it.
Ashley.
He wanted to outdo Ashley.
They've had
And
a
then
beautiful rivalry for years.
And then he looked at Sean, dressed as Anakin, and was like, well, we could do the Force choke. And then looked at me and went, well, you can't, Snips, but he and I can. And like wouldn't let me do like Force choke.
That's so funny.
So I think I grabbed my lightsabers and posed with them like that.
Oh my god, you'll have to send me this picture because that's amazing.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh my gosh,
find
that's
it.
awesome.
But you tell your Matt story.
So my Matt Lanter story, I met him at the same con, C2E2 2023. And I also hung out with him all 3 days, much like we did with James. So Matt, it was really funny. I got a picture with him, and I got a autograph with him, and he was awesome. It was really funny. We did I talked to him for a little bit, and we talked about, the funny thing is, first conversation I had with him was when I was talking about Rebels and how I had just started Rebels at that point. And oh, you sent me the picture. I'll take a look at it. He sent me, oh my god, that's amazing. We were talking about Rebels, and he because one of the prints on his thing was the Anakin Darth Vader with the cracked eye print. He had that, and he's like, do you know about this? I'm like, and I was like, Matt, I'm on the internet. And he's like, that is also fair. And he's like, yeah, you're just on the internet, so you're aware of it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm aware of it. And he actually hasn't watched a lot of Rebels.
Really?
Yeah, he's seen a few episodes, but he hasn't fully sat down and watched it. But
My
yeah,
favorite thing is that his dog is named Ahsoka.
I know, I love that. The funny thing is, I also told him about the Clone Wars musical, and I played Anakin's verse that is in the Song of the Sun to him, and he's like, I can see it on a stage in my head right now. And I was like,
yeah.
I
love Matt.
Yeah.
Sweet guy.
He is so sweet. Love him.
Yeah. And I know so Ashley, it was a little bit rushed because it's Ashley.
It's Ashley.
For photos.
Yeah.
But Matt, it wasn't. And I remember we actually Sean and I got to tell him that Clone Wars is what started our relationship.
Yeah.
And he was like, wait, really? And we got to kind of explain everything to him.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, I love
That's
Matt
nice.
so much.
Yeah, Matt is very sweet. Matt is very, very sweet. He's a very nice guy. I also told him, because I follow his wife on Instagram, and and Angela is so sweet. I love her so much. I was like, I love your wife's Instagram, and he's like, I'm the one who edits her photos. He edits her YouTube videos.
I love that.
I'm like, I've been watching you guys build your house that you're building in Ohio right now. And he's like, oh my god, you're going to be watching a while. So he was really funny. But yeah, Matt was hilarious.
And
so
then do you have any Sam stories?
I have too. I told my Mortis story.
Yeah.
And
because I feel like Ashley's going to take a while.
I only have one Ashley story.
I've seen her 3 times.
You have many Ashley stories, much like how I have many James stories, so it works.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sam Witwer. I love him. I really do. And stop giving me that look, Emma. Okay, yes, I simped for him. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, especially him in Once Upon a Time, which makes no sense to me.
That was the first time I saw him and knew who he was. Sorry. No, I didn't know who he was, actually. No,
Side eye.
shut up. Y'all know I'm a Darth Maul girl. I've been a Darth Maul girl for a long time. And I love Sam so much. Like, he's hilarious. Like, he's actually genuinely funny. If you guys watch him on Twitch, he has a Twitch channel. He actually, he does, like, out of pocket, accurate impressions while playing Star Wars video games on his Twitch channel. He has a George Lucas, which is way too accurate. And he has...
I hate that, honestly.
I will send you a video of it. It's really funny.
Okay.
It's really funny. He has a George Lucas. He has a Dave Filoni.
I love that.
And he has an Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he just has, like, a German accent that he'll just go into. Or he'll just start talking as Palpatine. Because he also voices Palpatine.
I forget that.
He voices Palps, yes. It's so funny, like, seeing him. Because, like, this man is a nerd. And he got into Star Wars, like, from a work perspective. Because he's a nerd.
Yeah.
And that's really funny. So the how Sam Witwer outgeeked Dave Filoni story. I'm sure many of our fans have heard this on the Clone Wars stories, but we are going to tell it. So it was during the Mortis arc. It's the first episode of the Mortis arc. And there is the scene where
I remember this.
There is a scene where Anakin's having a dream where he meets the ghost of Shmi Skywalker, who's actually voiced by the actress who played her in the movies, which is cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they actually got her back for that. So he's, like, having a moment, and he has this, like, he has a line where he does this beautiful monologue, and he says, I have a wife. I want you to meet her. You would like her. And he says, like, stuff like that. And then, like, Dave Filoni's like, okay, great. Moving on. And then Sam raises his hand and says, you're gonna have to do that again. And they're like, and Dave's like, what do you mean we're gonna be doing that again? Who are you, new guy? Because this was first time Sam had worked on Clone Wars. He had no idea what he was. He said, and I quote, I had no idea what I was doing.
I love that.
And he said, he's like, you're gonna have to do that again because Shmi and Padme have already met. They met in Phantom Menace. And Dave Filoni, like, sat there for a minute and just, like, pulled his hat over his eyes, very embarrassed. Because he knows this. He knows it very well.
Yeah. He's the man that was trained under George Lucas.
He's George Lucas's Padawan.
Yeah.
And he said, he's like, okay, Matt, let's do that again. Change that little detail. And apparently that was, like, the moment that Sam gained Dave Filoni's respect. And then, like, it was a Mortis pickup episode a few weeks later, where he's like, hey, have you heard, like, that, you know, we're thinking about bringing Darth Maul back? And he's like, yeah, I don't know, I really know how to do that. And he's like, oh, okay, well, there might be a really cool role coming for you at some point. And Sam did not understand that he was referring to him playing Darth Maul. He had no idea. And he said, oh, like a bounty hunter or something? And he's like, yeah, sure, bounty hunter. Cool. Then, like, a year later, Sam had been told that he was going to get a call from Lucasfilm at some point. He had no idea what it was for. He just knew he was getting a call. And he pulled his car over because he was driving at the time. And it was Dave Filoni, and he said, hey, and he's like, I'm just going to cut to the chase. I need Darth Maul. Can you do it? And Sam was like, huh? And Sam says, I'm quoting Sam when I say this. He says, he didn't say it in a way that means, like, are you available? Are you interested? It was, am I making a stake in hiring you for this role?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Oh my God. And so he's like, okay, we'll have another meeting soon, but okay, thanks for agreeing. Bye. And then Dave hangs up the phone, and then Sam's like, my brain started melting. When
I love that.
he's such a nerd. It's so adorable. But yeah,
Speaking of nerds.
I'm sorry. I'm just dying right now. I love
I
Sam
know.
so much. I'm such
It's gonna be so long.
I'm sorry
Though.
to myself in the future.
Yeah.
It's fine. I can deal with it.
But
every episode with me is always long.
yeah.
Because you let me
So
go
Miss
off.
Miss Eckstein.
Oh, Ashley. Who we
I've
adore.
talked about why she's such a big role model to me with
Yeah.
starting her universe before.
Yeah.
But I think the two biggest impacts on my life with her most recently have been her 2 speaks that she's done at Disney Springs.
Yeah, you went to those.
Yeah, I went to the one that Katie was actually a part of because it was actually thought of by Katie and her chef at the time, who both now work at the pastry shop by World of Disney.
Yay!
Woo! They're no longer at the Ganachery, but the Ganachery is still going to do the Ahsoka Pop years later. But anyway, the first one that she did, she was talking about the story that she always does, and that she brought up at Star Wars Celebration recently to Dave Filoni. Her audition.
She told that story at C2E2 as well.
Yeah, she told it at the first speak that she did for Women's History Month, celebrating her story month. And for those of you who do not know, she went in to voice Padme, and like she was like, then I can't do the Natalie Portman voice, they're not gonna hire me, and walked out of the room. And got on the phone with her agent, and her agent was like, go back in, like, you never know. And Dave was like, yeah, you're not our Padme, but we have this character, but we want her to have an Icelandic accent, so here you go. She tries, and like she hires like the best vocal
dialect coach
in LA to try to get it so she could be part of Star Wars in some way.
Yeah.
And she just like, she thinks she got it. And Dave is like, can you do it a little bit more? And she's like, excuse me, I was doing it a little more. Like,
I am doing an Icelandic accent. I don't know what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, she told
sassing.
Yeah, literally sassing Dave Filoni
in the audition for Clone Wars.
Let me tell you, when she told this story at the Clone Wars panel, Sam Witwer had never heard that story before. So I have a picture of his reaction to that. I'll send it to you because, oh my God, it's so freaking funny. But he sat there like horrified. I was like, "Can you do that?" Oh, I'll send you a picture of his face. It's beautiful.
Oh my God. But
he had never heard that story before.
Yeah, I think about that. And then her most recent talk this past year. So this one was actually Disney Springs had asked her to do it. So the previous one had been Katie and the Ganachery hosting her to do this speak and talking about the Ahsoka Pop specifically.
Yeah.
But then the next year, Disney Springs was like, hey, we really liked doing that talk with you. We want to make this a thing, like every Her Story Month. What do you want to talk about? And she brought in some people from Disney merchandising. And 2 of the people on the panel of 5 besides her were in the first meetings for her universe to be brought into the Disney parks. Which is insane to think about. One of them had recently retired and came back to do the speak. with Ashley. And Ashley was talking about, like, how much she learned from them. So she was talking about the first meetings, because the first meetings were to get what was the start of her universe at one of the first Star Wars weekends.
Mm-hmm.
Because the only female shirts that they had were, like, designs, she was saying. And not the two people that were on the panel, but someone else in that initial meeting was like, oh, that would never sell. Like, anything with these characters would never sell. And it was
Female
characters
characters
like
can't sell.
Ahsoka Tano and Padme Amidala and Leia. And without those two people at that talk, besides Ashley, like the two people, I forget their names,
Mm-hmm.
but that fought for her universe to be put into the parks, we, one, wouldn't have her universe. Two, this collection would never have existed without her universe. And
Yes.
this wasn't even a her universe collection.
Mm-hmm.
It was just Ashley promoting it. So it's the Women of the Galaxy one, which has women like Leia, Padme, Ahsoka, Hera Syndulla, Rey Skywalker, Rose, and her sister Paige.
Mm-hmm.
The only characters I wish they had on this bag, maybe instead of Paige, would be Sabine.
Yeah.
Especially since they have Hera on it, but, like, I get it, whatever. But that bag would not exist. And Ashley was telling the story of the first Star Wars weekends that her universe was actually there, selling t-shirts geared toward women. How the best selling t-shirt that Star Wars celebration, or Star Wars weekends, not celebration, was a red shirt with Queen Amidala's face on it.
Mm-hmm. Because you never see anything with Padme on it.
No, you still really don't. It's mostly like Ahsoka.
Which there's nothing wrong
and
with
Leia,
having Ahsoka
which
merchandise.
is nothing wrong, especially because it is Ashley's brand.
Yeah.
But I just think about that talk a lot because, again, without, and one of the two people that were in those initial meetings, she was talking about, because someone asked, as part of Disney merchandising, what has been your favorite collection or thing that you got to work on? And one of the two people got to bring Duffy to the States.
Mm-hmm.
One of the other people that was on the talk, they weren't necessarily in the first meetings, but they've been in meetings post her universe starting to be put in the parks, worked on the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel merchandising.
Sobbing. Cries.
And I just think about that. She's just an incredibly nice person. In the few seconds I got to know her, like got to meet her when I was dressed as Ahsoka, she's like, oh my gosh, you look amazing. And like I got to like briefly tell her how much Ahsoka means to me, but I couldn't say everything because like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And I would love to have her on this show.
I would
so
love
I could
to
tell
as
her
well, because she's the best.
what
I met
she means to me.
I met Ashley in 2021 at FanX Salt Lake. And
Okay,
I
so
met
not
her.
C2E2.
No. She was at C2E2. I just didn't meet her that time because I had already met her once. So I was like, I'm not gonna get in line again. Because Sam's line was the longest. Because Sam is a rare con person.
Yeah, which is why I'm so thinking about going to that one con you were telling me about.
Please do it. He's the best. No, okay, so Ashley, when I met her, I got her autograph and I talked to her for a little bit. And I told her, she was so happy when I told her Clone Wars is my quarantine show. She was so excited when I told her that. And I said, I want you to know that what you have done for women in nerddom, it means a lot. Especially for someone like me who, when I was a kid, I was ridiculed for being a woman and being into Star Wars and being into Marvel and being into DC. I was ridiculed for that.
Same.
And
I think back to middle school Emma.
It was as if, like, those were not mutually exclusive. Like, you couldn't be both at the same time. Like, I couldn't, I had to hide that
I'm
a
about
while.
to cry thinking about middle school Emma.
Oh my gosh. If I got to tell like grade school Kara that that you have made friends, you have met your idols because of being a woman in nerddom.
Yeah.
I would love to do that. And I told Ashley that, and I'm like, it means a lot that you created a brand that is all about empowering women in nerddom.
So
And she like held my hands and she was so excited. She's like, that is why I created her universe. And I was just like I was like crying. But yeah, like she was the best. She is the best. I love her.
She is the best, yeah. I think back to middle school Emma watching Rebels and getting to know Ahsoka for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And
I can see you getting emotional, yeah.
Yeah. I needed someone like Ashley in my life at that point.
Yeah.
A woman who changed the way women in fandom and women in nerdom are treated.
Yeah.
I remember I remember this very vividly. It was my middle school, 7th grade specifically, math class. The biggest bully I had all through middle school was in that class, and multiple in that year. And I was talking with one of my friends, Hannah, about something about Star Wars, probably something about Ahsoka, and her overhearing it and bullying me and making fun of me for liking Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And then like I kind of stopped talking about Star Wars and like went on to Star Kid, and she would make fun of me for that.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I had one of the biggest influences in my life, my English teacher in 7th grade. I forget his name right now, but that's not the point. But I remember walking into his classroom the first day, and he had an R2D2 thing on his desk, and like so many nerdy things, and I felt like I could be myself in that classroom, which I never felt like I did until quarantine, really. And I found you and my TikTok community and this podcast.
Yeah.
And I really wish middle school me could see that I've gotten to meet Ashley and Matt.
Yeah.
And all the things that have come from this podcast and from me embracing nerd culture for the first time.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling that honestly it was Clone Wars that did that for us. It's crazy to think that. And I mean, you and I have created characters for ourselves that are Clone Wars based, that we adore. Like I love Scylla, I love Koi. I love making those characters myself. It makes me happy. Like it just brings me pure joy. And the fact that like I got to fulfill some things that brought me so much comfort and safety. If Sam ever listens to this, dude, I want you to know that you listening to Song of the Sun when I played it and saying that I did a good job meant literally the world to me. And I don't know if he's ever going to fully understand that. Because that really helped me a lot. And
me just meeting Ashley and dressed as her character that I used to be bullied for.
Yeah.
Liking.
It's
and feeling seen.
Yeah.
I look around my desk and I've started packing up stuff because I'm gone next weekend.
Yeah.
And won't have time to pack up stuff. But I still have at least a couple nerdy things on my desk.
I keep nerdy things on my work desk in my office.
Specifically Lola right now.
Yeah. It means a lot seeing this.
Yeah, let's see. I have that.
Oh, we're both gonna cry.
I have a Narnia book.
Of course you do.
It's a Christian discipleship in Narnia.
Nice.
I'm making a Bible study based on this book right now, which is why it's on my desk. I
Nice.
have, what else do I have that's nerdy? Notice I've packed up most of my desk, so I don't have the picture of me meeting Ashley. I have the prequel to The Hunger Games.
Of course you do.
I have
Nice.
not read this.
Okay.
I have.
Before we squirrel. Oh my gosh.
This is for Taylor Swift.
Of course it is.
This weekend when this episode comes out.
Yeah.
Sorry. Squirrel.
But yeah,
Um,
Clone Wars just means so much for both of us. I mean,
Yeah.
you and I would not have met were it not for Clone Wars.
Gabby and I would not have met.
Yeah. It's crazy to think about.
Sean and I would not have met.
Yeah. It's crazy to think about.
Because I remember sitting down next to him when he thought of me as church girl.
Mhm.
When I was at that first meeting for Lambda Alpha Epsilon back when I was a criminology major, and
Mhm.
seeing Star Wars as his lock screen and me being like, oh, I like Star Wars too, and mentioning Ahsoka first.
Yeah.
And him and I talking about Ahsoka before the meeting started.
Yeah.
And of course, like, little did I know that that's the
Yeah.
man I would be dating for 3 years after that.
Yep.
And Clone Wars means so much to me.
Oh my god, yeah. I love it so much. Clone Wars, I love Clone Wars.
Because, like,
with all of
even
my
in high
heart.
school, I was, like, kind of bullied for writing fan fiction around Rebels.
Yeah. Clone Wars is a gift. And
Ashley Eckstein is a gift.
all of everybody, every single
Everyone.
person who worked on Clone Wars is
Yeah.
a gift.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're ever going to fully understand that.
No.
And
I remember at
it just means so
MegaCon.
much that they, like, the actors who were on Clone Wars, like, we're talking about the core people. We're talking Ashley Eckstein, D. Bradley Baker, Matt Lanter, James Arnold Taylor, and Sam Witwer.
And Catherine Tabor.
And
Let's put
Catherine
her in
Tabor,
here.
of course. That core group, they love Clone Wars so much.
Yeah.
And they always get so happy when they talk about it. And
Yeah.
knowing that it is as much a source of joy for
For
them as
them.
it is for us means the world.
Yeah.
And it is crazy to think about. And oh my god, this episode's been going on for 3 years. But
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna
I-
have a heck of a time editing this.
I'll put it in tonight.
Yeah. But
But
oh my gosh.
yeah, they will never truly understand. And I remember at MegaCon, and this will be the last thing before we get into canon news,
Yeah.
someone talking, or before they asked their question, telling James, Matt, and Ashley how Clone Wars literally saved her life.
Yeah.
How she was going to take her life, and how Clone Wars was the one thing that kept her going.
Yeah.
And I remember Ashley, Matt, and James asked her to come to the stage and hugged her. And
Yeah.
we're talking about, like, that's why we do this.
Yeah. It's
And sure, like,
It's
I love
insane.
every fandom we talk about on this show.
Yeah.
But Star Wars is, and specifically Ashley Eckstein, is who's made me what I am as a nerdy woman.
for me, it's been Clone Wars, Ashley and Sam.
Yeah.
They have been they have made me the nerdy woman I am today, along with like all the other amazing actors that I idolize. Rob
Same.
Paulson, Maurice LaMarche,
Paige
all of the
O'Hara.
Paige O'Hara, like all of these amazing actors that we idolize.
Jodie Benson.
Literally. Yeah.
But
It's insane.
yeah.
But these guys in particular,
Ugh.
they just
I think this is the first time I've actually like cried on.
oh Em, I love you so much.
Love you too.
It means a lot knowing
Yeah.
that they love it as much as we do.
Yeah. And actually, so one of my best friends, Kristen, she still hasn't watched most of Clone Wars. She's on season 3 last time
Yeah.
she was watching it. Me, my friend Hayden, her husband, and Kristen and I, we're all going over to Kristen, her husband's apartment on May the 4th to watch more of Clone Wars and try to get as much of it
Yeah.
through. I think she just started season 3.
I'm converting Adrian. So Adrian, when we went to C2E2, we were in the car drive home, and she's like, I'm gonna start Clone Wars because meeting these guys converted me to Clone Wars.
Yeah. They're the
she had not seen
sweetest
it.
individuals. And again, like I wouldn't have met Katie without Ashley.
Yeah.
And she and I are planning a Star Wars day dressed up as Kana and her OC.
Cries. Sobbing. Love that. Oh my gosh.
I should ask her to join. Sorry. We're looking for more people to join Kana's crew right now.
Of course.
I want to add her. Or ask
Cute.
her if she wants to be added.
Oh my gosh. We should get on to fandom news because, oh my god, you and I could go on about this for hours.
Yeah. So 3 new Star Wars films have been announced at Star Wars Celebration Europe. James Mangold will direct a film about the first ever Jedi, which was described as a biblical epic. Dave Filoni will direct a film culminating the events of the Mandoverse. And Sharman Obaid Chinoy's film will follow the establishing of a new Jedi Order. It is set 15 years after the Rise of Skywalker and will have the return of Daisy Ridley as Rey Skywalker.
Broadway's Kimberly Akimbo will hit the road with a national tour in 2024.
Megan Hilty, Jennifer Simard, Christopher Saber, Nicole
Scherzinger.
Scherzinger, and more will be part of Universal Theatrical Group's upcoming reading for the musical adaptation of Death Becomes Her.
Splash Mountain will permanently close at Disneyland on May 31st to begin its transformation into Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Capture Your Moment private photo pass sessions are coming soon to Fantasyland at Magic Kingdom. Capture Your Moment had launched just a few years ago with only a select locations around Walt Disney World available for sessions, and this is for like private events like engagements, weddings, kind of stuff like that.
The stage musical based on the Amazon Prime series Transparent has announced its stars, including Daya Curley, Peppermint, Sarah Stiles, and more.
John M. Chu is going to direct a film adaptation of Andrew Lloyd Webber's and Tim Rice's musical, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I love that musical.
Same. It's been such a first for me and my family. Okay.
Yeah.
A new world of Pixar expansion is replacing Toontown at the Disneyland Paris park with a brand new show called Together, a Pixar musical adventure coming this summer.
HBO Max's new streaming rebrand of Max has ordered the first ever Harry Potter scripted television series, which will be a faithful adaptation of the iconic books and will be executive produced by J.K. Rowling.
A brand new Coco restaurant is coming to Disneyland Paris Park.
Poseidon's Fury is closing permanently at Islands of Adventure, unfortunately. And the last day guests can enjoy Poseidon's Fury in the Lost Continent will be May 9th.
Disney CEO Bob Iger is named one of Time's most influential people for 2023.
Disney 100 Decades 1940s collection will be available was available starting on April 17th. The Decades 1940s collection will feature merchandise surrounding Fantasia, Pinocchio, etc.
Star Wars Celebration will be returning to Japan in 2025.
And Star Tours will be getting more adventures and locations starting in 2024. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Fan Fatales. We are a proud part of the Real Fans Podcast Network. And if you want to check out more shows on the network, you can find them on rf4rm.com. Next week, Gabby and I will be having a very special May the 4th episode where we will be talking about Spaceballs and reviewing it. Remember to subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe to us on YouTube. Please leave us a review and comment down below to tell us what you think about the show. And remember to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at FanFatalesPod for the latest updates. I can be found on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at SnippyEmma, which is SnippyEmma. And Gabby is at GabbyGent everywhere, which is GABYJENT. Our editing is by the wonderful Carol Lensmeyer. As always, thanks for tuning in. Bye! The views expressed in this episode do not reflect the brand or company they are about.